Hey, welcome to the show, everybody. Welcome to the Council on Future Conflict. My name is Scott. I am your host. I'm the proprietor of the channel, and today we've got the Suicide of the West and Waiting for World War on episode 563 of the Council on Future Conflict. Joe, how you doing, brother?
I am doing well and good. I got a shipment of stuff from our boys at where is it? Kyber Optics. So, good times, good stuff, and we will be talking about that when we get to the brush beater segment.
I'm seriously jealous of you there.
Oh yeah. Just saying. Only problem is I need another mount, but I can't tell Matt that because he'll just send me one, and I want to buy one, so I'm gonna go get one there at the store. I'm gonna sneak in, as if everyone at the store doesn't know me, but whatever. I'll make it.
Right.
But yeah, I got some good stuff here. And you know what? It's been a good day. I saw a couple of bear cubs playing in the road last night, so that's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Cool stuff.
Let's see. Joe, I don't know if we got enough stuff to talk about today.
I mean, it's been a quiet 24 hours. It's crazy. But I will tell you this, if I was riding a train, I would just carry a bigger knife like this Ontario OKC 3S bayonet. I'm just saying.
Hey, I mean, it's good stuff, right?
Yeah.
Watcher, how you doing, brother?
Well, I mean, I'm you know me, I'm a dark humor guy to the end, but I'm not gonna lie, I'm not really okay. This is
well, come on, you haven't been okay for years, Watcher. Let's be honest.
No, it's true, but this one shook something loose, man. Yeah.
So this is definitely something that is, I don't know, man. I mean, so like our topics here today are essentially, there's a lot of shit going on in the world, but that's like second place to the suicide of the West, right? Like, and it's not just America. It's not just this one story. But this story is like a canary in the coal mine. Well, you know the first canary in the coal mine for what is going on with the suicide of the West? It was Columbine for my money. And this has been happening. Everything that we've seen, I think is tangentially related since Columbine, and probably you could go back even further.
Once you realize that Columbine was entirely engineered for just such a purpose, it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Well, and it goes, but the society has been engineered in order for us to get this right, and that is this kind of secularization, the chipping away at the social moral fabric of Western society has really just made it obvious. Like this, like when. In the old days, you would turn to your family and you turn to your pastor and you get whopped upside the head and you get back in line. Now you go into these channels of just depression and nihilism that sends you into, well, I think shooting up my school or stabbing some lady on the street. These are perfectly good options for me to do because, if I feel bad, somebody else has got to feel bad too. This was just not part of the Christian moral framework back in the day. But now it is a go-to for so many people. And it's the reason why we are living in the world we are.
Well, there was a difference pre-1950s. Oh my gosh, what happened in the 1950s? Oh, I know. Where certain segments of society were unified behind everyone else. There was a lot more church going. There was a lot more marriage in that particular segment of society. But when the 50s rolled around and we rolled out a massive social safety net, it then disincentivized marriage. It disincentivized moral standards. And so certain groups just abandoned it. and things have gone downhill since then. And you can argue with that all you want. It's just a straight historical fact. It happened, right? Something changed. The Black community used to be full of families and great families at that. I grew up in a community of great families, but it changed over the last 60, 70 years. And it's morphed into an absolutely, CJ Clark, you just said it. I was avoiding it. It has morphed into something that it never was throughout the history of America. And it is not for the better.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not for the better. Anyway, yeah, Watcher, you're right. I think this hit us all pretty hard this week. So,
this is
so.
I think this is legitimately one of those things where you will look back on 10 years and still remember this moment.
Yeah. And of course, it would have to have been a Ukrainian refugee, wouldn't it? But we'll get to that when the story comes. But
yeah. Well,
yeah. Well,
I mean, the odds and ends, gentlemen.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
All right. Well, first up, can you guys hear me? Okay.
Yeah.
I had some like weird roboting there for a second. Okay. So, we've been talking about this kind of getting ready for war thing in off of the coast of Venezuela, and so I think this was right after the show. This is when this kind of broke on Monday. Makes the Secretary of War makes a visit to the carrier off the coast of Venezuela to tell the Marines this is not a training exercise. Let's see. Upon a first somewhat dramatic stop and arrival by an Osprey aircraft on the USS Iwo Jima, Hegseth told Marines in waters off Puerto Rico that their deployment was not training. Which is a clear sign that the Trump White House.
I can't believe we allowed him to travel by Osprey.
Same,
Osprey?
Like legitimately, I'm not even like that. Like this isn't a joke. These things are not safe enough to take VIPs in.
I just want to tweak you guys a little bit by saying more people have died on the Chinooks at this point than they have died.
Yeah, but how long has the Chinook been in service? The Osprey.
The Chinook's been in service for a fuck ton more time, and the Chinook was in Vietnam. So you're counting all the Nam shoot downs.
Let's not forget that.
No. We're talking
shot down and caused a lot of deaths on those. So.
I'm just clearly the Marines are pretty happy with it. So I mean, the
Marines are not.
I think
Department of the Navy is.
The Navy loves it.
Wow. All right. Anyway, what are you doing right now is not training, he says. This is real world exercise on behalf of the vital national interests of the United States of America to end the poisoning of American people, Trump's defense chief said. The Pentagon is reportedly mulling using Puerto Rico as a central hub to wage war against Latin American cartels. Makes sense, just from the location and all. At the moment, the U.S. has put about $50 million bounty on Maduro. Governor of Puerto Rico, Jennifer Gonzalez, welcomed Hegseth's presence, showing a willingness to host American troops amidst the Venezuela operations while denouncing Maduro as a narco dictator. We thank President Donald Trump and his administration for recognizing the strategic value Puerto Rico has in the national security of the United States and the fight against the drug cartels in our hemisphere perpetuated by the narco dictator Nicolas Maduro. That's pretty interesting. I think she's a Democrat, isn't she?
I don't know. She's the new one. I I can only think of the old one, so I don't know enough about her.
Yeah.
But what's funny is the article had to insert President Donald in front of Trump, and that's something that's pretty common amongst the left and amongst the media. A flat-out refusal to address him as President Trump. They call him Mr. Trump or Trump. So.
Yeah.
Voting on this because I had a guy call me out and say, we've never gone to war in the last 83 years without 2 carrier battle groups. And I was like, yeah, we have. Cause Panama. And he was like, let me check Grok. And I'm like, you don't need to check Grok because I was there. There was no carrier strike group.
What?
And we have an aircraft carrier.
Like he's talking like the big.
Anyway.
Yeah. Iwo Jima is currently stationed 30 miles south of Puerto Rico. Along with the carrier deployment, the U.S. has at least 3 guided missile destroyers in the Caribbean, 10 and thousands of U.S. Marines. There are also reports that the U.S. attack submarine operating at locations unknown off of Venezuela. Tensions are soaring after last week the U.S. attacked the alleged drug smuggling boat, killing all 11 on board, and reportedly with no warning or attempt to intercept it. Maduro has put his own forces on alert, particularly off the coast and the border regions, and he has sent F-16s to buzz U.S. warships, though Trump has threatened to shoot them down. You know, the irony is, Joe, is that this story has every reason to be our lead story, you know, but yet here it is as an odds and ends because we have other things to talk about today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I liked the habitual
line with you guys.
No, maybe slightly, but I like the habitual line crosser take on on this one. Personally, I don't know if you guys got to see his latest video.
No.
Oh, well, I'll find a clip later.
Okay. I don't. I spend a lot of time on social media since I lived in Montana than I used to. So.
It makes you. It's probably a lot healthier for you.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Anywho.
All right, let's move on. Any other kind of thoughts that you want to? Any kind of thoughts that you want to add to this before we move on?
Yeah, I guess we should at least say how we think this is gonna, if it's going to kick off, what it'll look like. And I think it starts to look like a blockade. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's exactly what it looks like, is us checking all naval traffic coming in and out of Venezuela, and then Venezuela getting angry about that and starting attacking our boats. No?
Oh, I'm sorry.
I don't know. But my
I just said
just
gotcha. I just said I think the only thing left on this segment is how we think it might potentially look like when it kicks off, and I think that probably looks like a blockade, right?
It looks more like a blockade, but what's interesting is the additional buildup in the area, and I've said it a couple times. I'll say it again. The Dutch reinforced Aruba, and I looked at the French Orbat in French Guiana. So there's Venezuela, Guyana, Suriname, and then French Guiana. There is a parachute battalion of the Foreign Legion there, and there is a regiment of Marines there, which has recently been reinforced. It was just a battalion, now it's a regiment. So everyone seems to be gearing up in the region. I think what will probably happen is some sort of an at-sea incident, either between the Venezuelan Air Force and the U.S. Navy or the Venezuelan Navy, or it could be something that happens between Guyana and Venezuela that kicks things off. So I would really pay attention to that.
Well, you know, for me, Joe, I think what we're seeing is something like what we saw before Trump dropped the bombs in Iran, where there was this kind of like significant, like it's like they rattled the sabers and then nothing happened for a long time, you know, and it was several weeks before we actually got directly involved with Iran. So I'm looking for something like that, and maybe we talked on Monday a little bit about conditioning with the whole kind of jamming and EW kind of warfare that's going on, you know, and so I wouldn't be surprised if it's not just jamming, intel collection, you know, and then also putting all of the right forces in place. I wouldn't be surprised if that still didn't slow it down a bit, but I think you're right. I think if something were to happen with the cross-border piece, I think that would kind of kick it off early.
Absolutely.
All right. Let's move on to the next one, shall we? Once again, on any other day, this would be, one of our lead stories. Nepal descends into chaos after social media ban. Prime Minister resigns. Finance Minister dragged through the streets. So there's some pretty dramatic video with this. Chaos has descended on Nepal amidst a raging mass protest against a short-lived ban on social media. The accusations of widespread government corruption in the small Himalayan country has descended into hellish conditions in less than a mere 48 hours of raging anti-government demonstrations. The protests appear mostly led by the young after several popular social media sites were blocked, and the clashes with the police led to authorities firing on crowds, resulting in 19 people dead. But even after the social media ban was lifted, amidst pressure and mayhem, the demonstrators set fire to homes of top Nepalese leaders and even the parliament building. Specifically,
that was a pretty nice sidekick right there.
I know.
Listen, I hear a lot of upset in the chat about, hey, just get to the main story. Listen, guys, I'm sorry, but this is one that I wish happened on another day, because I would literally talk about this for hours. There's so much good shit in here. Just communists being paraded through the streets, beaten half to death.
So two things on this. Number one, it began as a social media ban, but what they're now protesting and killing people over was the police firing on the crowd, the unarmed crowd, and killing scores of people. But the second thing is that the crowd may have gone too far, and that's always a risk. Like killing the wife of the politician, she's the wife. She literally had nothing to do with whatever the politician did, right?
Yeah.
They dragged her out and beat her to death. You can fight a war and still be moral. And that's the fine line we have to learn.
Agreed. Yeah. The other thing I think happened is that, as far as I understand it, what happened and why the finance minister particularly was the first one targeted and drug out onto the street is it started as a protest over social media, and then they got bored and they started protesting and did other things. And they broke into a government building. And then when they broke into the government building, they found evidence of corruption. And so they started going after the people on the names of that list. And as they went to those people's houses, gathered more and more and more to figure out who to go to next.
Yeah.
But listen, one thing Joe just said that I think needs to be reinforced big time is a factor a lot of people have not taken into account is how much social media is used as a means of reducing antisocial tendencies in young men. And when you lose it, things get spicy.
Yeah.
This is what happens over a voluntary government ban, right? The government decided to do it. What happens in Western society when it's forced upon this generation of people because there's no power, right? On a widespread area over, say, a week? It's going to be bad.
Yeah. Yeah, it's gonna get a lot worse.
That was a beautifully executed plot.
It was very good. But I should add just a little bit of historical context into this. So there was a Maoist revolution in Nepal in 2008. And obviously the Communist Party there has ruled the country since then.
Well, there was communists were in charge before the Maoists came in. So the interesting tale about communism in Nepal is that it's basically competing communist parties. Let's see. Hold on. I looked at something earlier about this.
You actually have to go back a touch further. China forcibly took Tibet. Nepal was worried that China was going to forcibly take them, and China said, we don't have to. And they just installed these two competing Maoist parties, and China has pretty much had a lock on Nepal ever since without ever setting foot inside of it.
Yeah, so the Communist Party of Nepal was founded in 1949. Then you also had the Communist Party of Nepal, Marxist-Leninists, and then you had the Maoist Center. And then, so like you've had these competing roles. The Maoist insurgency went from 96 to 2006, led to the abolition of the monarchy in 2008. So basically the communists had a huge role in shaping the country in the kind of the civil sector out beyond the monarchy. And then once the monarchy was put to pasture, then it basically became full-on communist.
Look how quick they are to pick up the worthless money and be happy because they have some worthless money.
Yeah, talk about money that you can't change at the airport. Nepalese, whatever they are.
Do they?
Dairy dues.
Anyway, it just happened, Morris. The Nepalese rupee. I thought they used the baht, but it's the rupee.
Is it a rupee? So anyway, yeah, this is what we're talking about today. This would literally there's a lot to this, so we could go into depth on this, like Watcher was saying, but unfortunately, we're gonna have to just kind of skim the surface because there's so much more to talk about. You guys got any parting shots on Nepal? Here's my question to you guys. Here's my exit question. What's the over-under on how quickly China comes in to establish security and in order to keep things from spiraling out of control?
Frankly, I'm shocked it hasn't already happened.
Me too. Maybe. Well, you know what? Honestly, this did happen pretty quickly. I mean, it started this weekend, but ultimately, we're not even a full week. So maybe they need another.
Who says
they need another week to get their stuff together? But yeah, go ahead, Joe.
So there's a guy who I can't think of his name, but he keeps saying you're never more than 72 hours from a complete collapse of whatever society you have. That guy seems pretty wise. And listen, Pinochet, I'm going to answer this with a quote from a movie. If you watch The Kingdom of Heaven, when Balian is sitting with the king, and the king says, your soul is in your keeping alone. When you stand before God, you cannot say, virtue was not convenient at the time, or I was told by others to do this. Your soul is in your keeping alone. Justify killing the wife however you want. That doesn't make you cool or edgy. It makes you a monster. The wife had nothing to do with it. Stop it.
Yeah, evidently she got caught in the fire when they set the guy's house on fire. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, when you set a guy's house on fire, you got to assume his entire family's in there.
And my ass, no man, Pinochet, despite what you say.
By the way, I want to say thank you to Low Keep LARP, a gifted 5 subs. I know you're kind of going through your OCD there and making sure that all the white comments are taken care of. Appreciate you. Thank you for benefiting us.
Yeah, continuing to support the show, man. Really appreciate you. We couldn't do it without you guys.
All right, gentlemen. Let's move on, shall we? This next one is pretty good too. Watcher, you want to take us through this one?
Oh, happily. Well, you see, Greta Thunberg, fresh off of her high seas adventure, decided that the only thing that would do would be to start another one. So she set out with another group of vagabonds on yet another horribly shitty ship in order to go join another flotilla outside Gaza to deliver unspecified supplies on a boat that could barely carry enough supplies for the people on board. So, publicity stunt. And once they get out there, they're gosh darn it, they're just not getting enough attention, Scott.
Oh my God.
I don't know what's going on. So they've decided that the best way to get attention is to launch flares at themselves and claim that it was a drone strike. Oh, hold on, I forgot. This one has to have audio. Hold on. Here you go. So, this happens not once. From what I understand, this happened twice in the same night.
Oh, it's so funny. It's like, we're hit! Stop.
We're going down. Oh my God.
But you know what? I actually have the best response to this. Let me find it again. I had it up and then I got rid of it.
Hold on. We're hit is in this one, I think. While you're fighting it, I'll play this.
Yeah. Holy. Yeah. It's silly. Babylon B has reported another incident that has happened on board the ship. If you want to pull up what I'm sharing right there, Washer. A frozen burrito put it in the microwave. Under attack. It's in pretty bad shape. Anyway,
oh my God.
It's crazy. So
Joe,
even the Tunisian government was like, "Hey, we've reviewed all of the aerial surveillance radar footage, and there was nothing anywhere near this boat." So
they were trying to claim they were hit by a drone strike, and I'm just like, what kind of drone launches a flare?
You have a slight lag, so I didn't mean to step on you. Go ahead, sir.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was just gonna say, they kept trying to say that they were hit by a drone strike, and I'm just over here trying to picture what kind of drone launches a flare, and how can we rig that up now so that we can hit them with flares?
Not only. You know who else is live right now, Joe?
What's that?
Yeah, I said, you know who else is live right now?
Yeah. There's several people.
It's like I would be more than happy to go at a different time. We can't.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway. Gentlemen, that's all we have for the odds and ends. Anything else that you guys want to share before we go into the profit motivated segment of the program?
No, just that if my name was Donald Trump, I would better time my surprise dinner visits rather than as the rest of the world is about to kick off into the war. That's later. We're going to talk about that, right? The Polish.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Too right. Good.
I would have just timed that differently. That's all.
All right. Joe, you want to talk a little bit tactical-wisdom.com?
Why not? So I wrote an article over there over the weekend about the gray man versus the invisible man and which one is better. And of course, I had a guy write a diatribe about how you really can live the gray man lifestyle. So cool. But you still live somewhere, you pay bills, you have a phone bill. You're not that much of a gray man. You can be aware and you can pay attention, but you can't. But this photo shows the way that most actual gray man people dress. You know, they got their cool guy Oakley shades and all that kind of stuff. But that maybe when things get bad, you decide to look more like someone they don't want to take on than trying to look like not a threat. Because I'll be honest, if you don't look like a threat in a collapsed society, someone is going to victimize you. That's why we see, and as I put in the article, you see all these guys walking around in Haiti carrying a stick like it's a gun. It's so that at first glance, people are like, oh, that guy's got a gun. I'm not going to attack him. I'm going to go find someone else. So it's a pretty good article. Check it out. I've got a couple other ideas for some kicking around. Also, if you are a member on Locals, this Friday, we're going to get back to our Friday videos, and we're going to do a video on ATVs as dragoons. So in the prepared citizen realm, what other options do we have? We don't have light armored vehicles to ride around in, but we can use ATVs to fight like dragoons, arrive on horseback, get off and fight, get back on. So we're going to talk about that. So good stuff.
Yeah, that's awesome. All right, let me read for you my brush beater. Since Matt is so good to be live with Radio Contra right now, I might as well do an ad for him because he can't do one while he's live. All right, so tonight we're facing foreign conflicts brewing, internal strife tearing up through the West with tension mounting. It's time to train and prepare. Enter our sponsor, Brush Beater Store, led by Matt, a.k.a. NC Scout, equipping you with top-tier training and optics to hold the line. When war looms abroad or chaos erupts at home, Brush Beater's RTO course delivers secure comms to stay connected, outmaneuvering threats on any front. Next, take it to the next level with the advanced RTO course, mastering signal, intel, and electronic warfare to anticipate moves in global or domestic battles. For survival skills, the Tactical Combat Casualty Care course trains you to treat wounds fast, ready for any conflict zone. And let's be honest, there's some wounds that no matter how much medical attention you have, you're not going to be able to do anything about.
Yeah.
And when precision matters, the Kyber Optics MDO mini dot optic brings a closed emitter red dot with a shake awake and a 50,000 hour battery life, perfect for rifles or pistols, ensuring you hit your mark in tense standoffs or skirmishes. Get battle ready at Brush Beater's Yanceyville, North Carolina training facility, or shop brushbeater.store/collection/training and brushbeater.store/collection/optics. Use code CFC10 for 5% off courses, optic, radio, gear, whatever. All orders over $100 ship for free. Thanks to Matt at Brush Beater Store for backing Counts on Future Conflicts. Visit brushbeater.store, enter code CFC10, and prepare to prevail. Now, back to the show. All right, guys.
Let me just say we have some show and tell.
Oh, yeah, let's do it.
So speaking of Brush Beater Optics, one, I'm wearing the very cool Kyber Optics t-shirt. But we have here the 1-10 LPVO. It's pretty nice. It's got a reticle that very much reminds me of the old Dragunov reticle, so it's pretty cool. This is 1-10 power. And then here we have the medium power 3-18 by 50. Which means it lets in a lot of light. It's good for using in low light. Pretty good scope. What's really cool about this is an additional turn here on the towers. We got an additional turret. This one here is focus, and it's got a bunch of yardage settings to rapidly adjust your focus. Say you're at 500 yards, dial it up to 500, and it gives you an autofocus at that level. Pretty darn cool stuff. So.
Yeah. And the price point on that, I don't know exactly what it is, but it's pretty damn good from what I remember.
Yeah, this is about $449, But for a 3 to 18 by 50 with all the features this has, that's a solid price. That is a solid price.
Yeah, I saw a reviewer basically saying that that at the quality and the price that he's putting out there, Brush Beater is going to be like the place for, guys like us to be able to get high quality optics without breaking the bank. So I think that's awesome.
Billy Blogs, they're all for any rifle. They're just scopes. They're not caliber specific. So, and there's no such thing as a sniper scope. It's a scope. It's a telescopic sight. For whatever rifle you put them on.
Well, yeah, those LPVOs are pretty popular on the your 5.56, but you can easily do it on
LPVOs that are caliber specific to the AK, the AR, whatever you need. So
the idea is you want a rifle that's going to have good accuracy beyond 300 meters if you're looking at an optic, because that's really where these type of magnified optics kind of excel. If you want something that is less than that, then you're looking at either like a CCO with no magnification, or maybe like a fixed magnification, like an ACOG or something along those lines. So, though ACOG is good for tagging things out to 500 meters.
Billy, range is a factor of ballistics of your rifle, not a sight. So I don't know what the answer is, man.
All right, gentlemen. Let's get into the main topic for today, which is suicide of the West. And, like I said, before we go into the main story here, Joe, I think we can preface this by saying that the West is fucked in a lot of ways. We were listening to that. There was a interview that Tucker did for the All In Summit, and we're not going to play it here because let me be honest. This is a morning show. For me, it's the end of the day, but for you guys, it's first thing in the morning. The last thing you want to do is be like wanting to like choke start a fucking shotgun for the rest of the day after listening to the dark stuff, because that's the problem with this topic. It gets very dark very quickly, right? And so some of the aspects we're just not going to go down the rabbit hole on, but if you're not worried, I don't know that I can convince you after if the things that you're seeing on a daily basis don't worry you, I don't know that you're going to listen to me. So I doubt that I can convince you. So this is mainly for the people who are already worried, right? Just to kind of preface this is something that I've been talking about for a long time. And, I've never been much of a conspiracy theorist, historically. I'm getting closer to that way, but the more I go, excuse me. But even as a young man, I felt like there were things that were off, right? Like the world had changed by the time I got to the late 90s from when I was a kid in the 80s, right? And it was like people weren't going to church anymore, or people who went to church, they didn't dress up, or it was just little things, right? Oh, well, we're not going to do prayers in schools. We're just going to do a moment of silence. Oh, we're not going to do a moment of silence anymore. We're not going to,
we're not going to stopped all the patriotic songs in schools, right?
Right. And you started seeing the war on Christmas back in the 90s, right? That became a thing. And then you also saw we're going to remove the 10 Commandments, right? Or, there were all these little culture war kind of things where they were chipping at. And what they were doing is they were conditioning our society to feel bad about our beliefs. Oh, we shouldn't push we can't just push our Christianity on people, right? And then at the same time, they wanted us to also feel bad about, well, look what we did to these people, right? Like, slavery in the past. And yeah, slavery is terrible, right? But the people who the people who were affected by slavery 180 years ago are no longer affected by slavery, right? That is a thing of the past. And so this is this kind of, and then it became, gay people, and then it became, there's all these kind of protected classes of people that we were told to feel sorry for, or, have some guilt, about like the way, like you can't say retard anymore or things like this. Right. And so things were changing. And the problem is they took away church, right? Which was like, when you had troubles, you could go to church, right? And you could focus on, if you want to focus externally, you had friends and fellowship at church. And if you wanted to focus internally, you could pray, you could meditate, you could focus inwardly, you could read the scriptures, you could go to Bible studies, you could do things that allowed you to kind of find a moral center or reason for the things that you did. The problem is that people replace that with secular things, like let's be honest, the woke, secular religion of the woke, right? Where being a white man became the original sin. And so you had they put all kinds of things on top of it, the progressive stack. So the more things that you had of, kind of factors of oppression you had, the kind of higher you became in the hierarchy of the oppressed. And so that was their kind of secular version of the meek will inherit the earth, right? Well, no, the meek are not people who put other people down in order to feel better. And so people lost their moral center, right? And this is the reason why, like in the old days, you didn't see like school shootings. You didn't see like, rampant suicide statistics, and all these other kind of things. Now you're seeing not just school shootings, but workplace shootings. You're seeing rise of just, drug use in populations that never used drugs before. You're seeing depression. You're seeing over medication of our children and adults as well. So there's all these kind of factors that kind of coincide to basically put us into some sort of a suicidal angst as a Western society. Top that off with I'm not a big fan of the whole idea of the great replacement theory, but by God, it sure looks like it, Joe. It seems like there, somebody out there is damned trying to replace, and it's not just white people; it's all Western people. It's people who think like us. In the past, people came here that were different colors, but they integrated in society and they became like, hey, I'm just a guy, right? My background may be from Senegal, or maybe from Portugal, or it may be from Asia, or wherever. But they integrated because their family, they came over as a single family or a single person. They married over here. Their kids grew up speaking English only usually, and they integrated into American society. That's not happening anymore. They're bringing over tranches of migrants, whether it's from South America, whether it's from Africa, whether it's from Central Asia, all these areas are being tapped to kind of provide not just manpower, but new cultural kind of centers to provide power bases that are anti-American at their fundamental. I'll turn it over to you guys before we get into the first story here. Basically about the stabbing, but what do you guys have to say?
I'll get started while Watcher wakes up because I think you put him to sleep. No, it was a very good monologue. Here's the thing: we've made it so that patriotism is looked at as some sort of evil thing. Imagine they're arresting people in the United Kingdom for flying the flag of the United Kingdom. The same flag those police officers have on their uniform. Think about that, right? How can you arrest somebody for displaying a flag that you display on your uniform? It's crazy.
Yeah.
And America is almost to that same point, right? You have HOAs all across the country, which, by the way, are an evil upon themselves. But you have HOAs saying you can't fly the American flag anymore. You go to a town like Dearborn, where the American flag means a lot more than just, hey, I'm patriotic. When you go to Dearborn, the American flag is where the Christians live. Everyone who's not a Christian does not fly the American flag.
Right.
And, it's an interesting thing. It is gone, and I think that we're in the end stages of that. By the way, everyone who talks about us being the majority and poor minorities' rights, when taken on a global scale, white people of European descent are in fact the smallest minority in the world. So,
yeah, that's a good point. Watcher, you want to lead off with anything before?
Yeah. I think it's weird. Over the last couple days, I've been drawn back into remembering a group of people that I spent a pretty decent amount of time with when I was in the crypto space, who were part of a project that I don't even remember what the name was then, because they changed names a lot on purpose, that was trying to establish basically a non-territorially bound nation state, where they could have little cities in basically anywhere they wanted and could globetrot between them. And it was obviously intended for, just the global elites. And they essentially wanted to be able to do business anywhere and not have to worry about local laws and not have to worry about being arrested by local governments for whatever thing they're into and all kinds of stuff. And I just want to say that, these are real people that are out there. This isn't like an unknowable force. This is a group, multiple groups, but like these are real people that are literally doing this for their own will. They're doing it on purpose. They're driving this for their own benefit, and they can be stopped. But the important part is that they are leveraging something which has been leveraged all over the place, which is that the small organized group will beat the absolute shit out of the large unorganized group every time.
Yes. Having a plan is always important. Okay. Let's get into the first story here. So Brinson on black violence, woke lies, and what right wing rage. Say that one 3 times fast. Gentlemen, did you know that they finally came out with a New York Times story about this, and the story was about girl's death sparks right wing outrage.
Yeah, nothing about the person who attacked her, but we have to make it about how outraged people are.
Heaven forbid people are outraged that somebody is an innocent woman is murdered.
The best meme I've seen out of all of this was somebody who said one of these was a drug addict with multiple felony convictions, and one was an innocent refugee riding the train. Which one do you think got more news coverage? Right.
So his commentary here says, you've seen the photo. A man stands behind. By the way, the look on this girl's face right here, like as a father, father of 2 daughters, absolutely guts me. Just scroll down just a little bit there, Watcher. It's it's worth looking. If it's worth looking at once, it's worth looking at 100 times. I mean, like, and she had like 30 seconds after this, and before she bled out. I mean, it's just unconscionable that she faced this. All right, he says, a man stands behind a woman, his arms raised a frenzy. She sits, focused on her phone, oblivious to the danger behind her. He is about to slash her neck and leave her to bleed to death. The man is black, the woman is white, and the races are no coincidence. The black men commit a huge amount of violent crime in the United States. Every statistic confirms this fact. Black people made up almost 47,000 of the 81,000 murder suspects whose race were known to the police in the last 5 years. According to the FBI, one of those and most of those killers are men. Put another way, black men who make up 1/14 of American population commit over half of the homicides. In some cities, the disparity is so stunning that nearly to defy belief. St. Louis has the same number of black and white people, about 130,000 along with 40,000 Asians and Latinos. So far this year, St. Louis police have identified 83 murder suspects. None are Asian or Latino, 3 are white, and the other 80 are black. 73 are men and 7 are women. I mean, Joe, at what point do we stop saying, like, okay, like, the racial component has to go away completely? We just have to look at the types of people that are doing this. And unfortunately, they belong entirely to the African-American culture, specifically in in urban areas.
Listen, the good news is Cash Patel and Dan Bongino are about to save the day. Anyway, in an urban area, the majority of the crime is black on black because it's gang related or drug related. This actual random killing of a white person by a black person is not actually that common, but it is getting more and more common as we go along, and that's problematic.
Yeah. Every time I hear this discussed, everybody wants to jump. Well, you can't say all black people. Well, we're not saying all black people. In fact, I'm gonna say the thing I for some reason almost never hear said. Like people will say things like, "Oh, it's the culture," and that's true. A lot of times in the past, they were talking about honor culture, which is what generally causes most of these. That's why you get the I was offended and you I had to defend my honor. That's all dumb bullshit that needs to get just completely wiped out. But no, more specifically, recently, I am talking about the black nationalists who are explicitly going on social media and calling for the mass killing of all whites and basically celebrating anytime this happens, putting money on the books for, hiring lawyers for, all that kind of stuff. No, I think that group of people needs to be declared essentially enemy combatants.
Well, I mean, like I don't believe in like blood libel or anything like that. So like, you can't put like crimes that somebody hasn't committed onto people who haven't committed crimes. That being said, you can't not look at risk factors.
Yeah,
right.
I mean, it's an objective risk factor, and I'm going to be honest. And people are going to say, "Oh my God, you're victim blaming," but Squishy Hunter pointed out, well, he was obviously having an episode before she got on the train. Yeah, but she had no idea of that. She was so engrossed in her phone that she had no idea what was going on around her.
Well, let's put
the phone down.
Absolutely. But let's point out the other side of that, which is she was Ukrainian. She didn't grow up here. All she ever got was the American propaganda and didn't know that there are some certain people that you shouldn't sit next to in the train.
Yeah.
Yeah, Derna for $5 over on Rumble says, can't stand the phrase random attack. Even mosquitoes don't bite things randomly. Human beings have motives.
Whatever. I mean, you know what that meant. I don't mean that it was completely. I'm just saying black people walking up and stabbing white people is not as common as you think, but it is getting more common. Random might have been the wrong word, but
no. Random's the correct word. You're just using it in the police
focus
statistics
on the wrong parts of everything.
Yeah, listen, Joe is using the police statistic version of random. That doesn't mean like, oh, it was completely random. No, it means like the victim was not known to the attacker.
All I meant by random was there was literally no connection between these two people.
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest. This guy wanted to kill a white person, I think.
Right. 100%.
Because there were plenty of black people sitting around him in that car, and he didn't attack
everyone else on the train was.
Look,
a white girl sits down in front of him, and he kills her.
You don't even have to go to those assumptions, Scott, because he literally says on the tape, I got that white girl. I got that white girl. I got that white girl over and over again for the next 2 minutes.
Yeah. All right. So going back to this commentary. I wish this racial gap didn't exist. Every American suffers from it. Black people suffer more than white because most crime is interracial, a fact that shouldn't surprise anyone. People usually commit violence against family members, friends, and people in their neighborhood. So black people are far more likely to be the victims of violent crimes as well as its perpetrators. Nonetheless, the crime gap is real and has been for generations. Whether violent crime is rising or falling, black people are far more likely to commit it. For a long time, we simply didn't discuss the fact. Everyone knew it. Maybe people didn't know the exact statistics, but everyone knew the overall trends. No one talked about it. Guess what? I think that silence was probably the right move. I know probably not what you expected from Mr. Unreported Truth. Hold on a second. Let's go to Lost Core 23 for $10. Says, still back at 20 minutes, but still, since I can see the chat talking about the main topic, I feel the need to insert some Don perspective. IRL things matter, internet things don't. Yeah, I mean, I think that
Yes.
that's true. Let's be honest. This girl, no matter what anybody does on the internet, this girl's still dead, and more girls like her will die. That's just the plain facts, and it won't be by this guy; it'll be by some other guy. And
let me address something you just raised: statistics. Violent crime may be going down, but that's entirely a trick of reporting and paperwork. Violent crime is not going down. It's going down in the FBI's reports because several cities have failed to report their numbers or change the definition of certain crimes so that it looked like violent crime was going down under a certain administration. Man, look at that. It's like Don was summoned up.
As soon as we said his name.
I heard if you say his name 3 times into a mirror, he appears. So.
That's the rumor.
That's the rumor, right? Don, what's up, brother? Long time no see.
Gentlemen, how's it going? I am breaking my vacation from podcast to come see you all this morning.
We appreciate it. This is,
So,
but you know what? This is kind of an important topic, though, and this topic's way bigger than just this one girl. But this one girl is a hell of a poster martyr for this issue. And if it gets regular people involved, fuck it, man, it's nothing but the good, right?
Maybe.
Well, it depends on what they do. If they actually get involved, right?
Actually, the Laserham has it. Say his name 3 times into a humidor, and he appears.
There you
go. That's what I'm talking about.
Well, I was going to say that if you say his name 3 times into a mirror, I'm pretty sure the rule is that a firing solution for your exact position suddenly appears in his head.
Yeah,
that's right.
That may happen.
A humidor. I have a cigar here from Rucker Knives that needs to be smoked. So
his FA tads pings your position.
Oh God, no! Anything like that. Burn those fucking things. So to answer the actual question that Scott asked right before I got here, or right as I got here, as long as people get involved, there are 2 kinds of getting involved going on right now, and one is unironic open bloodlust, and the other is basically begging politicians to do something about this. Now, if
I was going to say virtue signaling, but it's about the same thing.
Yeah, pretty much. If by some miracle, and miracle is relevant here, politicians go, oh man, maybe this really is a problem. You know what we're going to do is we're going to arrest the judges that let this guy go 14 times. We're going to put them on trial en masse for the deaths of people that are citizens of the United States that have been a byproduct of these policies, where what we're going to do is cause just mayhem across the country. Then things probably will get better. On the other hand, that is probably unironically going to require just like gallows construction, because we better be freaking efficient at getting rid of these people. Otherwise, it's going to continue, and for a lengthy period of time. And if that happens, the bloodlust is what's going to win. All right.
Yeah.
Years and years and years ago, I recall telling people at some point, this mayhem, these riots, this burning down the cities, all this kind of stuff. A bunch of white guys are going to show up in tack gear with rifles, and somebody's going to yell contact front. And at that moment, this country's going to change forever.
And that's a great time to have you a brand new Kyber Optics 3 to 18 by 50.
Code CFC 10 for 5% off. Orders over $100, shipped for free. Hey, there's a quote from Westworld, right? These violent delights have violent ends, right? And so essentially what you're basically saying is if you don't fix the problem, you're going to essentially live the problem. And Don, I think you said something on the X earlier that I thought was great, was something about like posting on the internet is not going to solve this problem. I can't remember what you put exactly.
Yeah, somebody posted, if the races were reversed, Charlotte would be burning today, right? And okay, so what?
Why aren't you setting Charlotte on fire then?
Yeah, so why was Charlotte not on fire today? Honestly, that's really what needs to happen.
Yeah. So are we going to burn down Charlotte today? Is that what I like? For entirely the federal government still monitors basically everything I do reasons. I am not advocating that we burn down Charlotte today, but I may or may not, for the first time in like 5 years now, show up with a camera if we burn down Charlotte today. Like it's a long drive for me, but I'll make it.
When you take the builders and leave them.
Is that what I need to do to get you to come to North Carolina?
Burn down Charlotte? Yes, I will drop by Matt's if we burn down Charlotte.
when you take the men whose instinct is to build and give them no option but to destroy, bad things follow.
Yeah, and look, man, that day is coming, and I got sad news for everybody that is super hopeful about this. It's probably not coming today. All right. We're on a collision course with these things happening at some point, but that point is probably not today. Aaron McIntyre posted a picture of a 5-year-old kid in the middle of this, and for good reason. All right. As upset as everybody is about this 23-year-old Ukrainian lady getting stabbed,
nobody said a word about that 5-year-old kid, did they? Man.
Yeah. That kid got shot for the incredible crime of riding up to his neighbor on a bicycle. Okay.
Right.
And by the way, what was that guy's excuse? Oh, but he called me the N-word. First of all, shut the fuck up. If a 5-year-old calls you the N-word, so you shoot him in the face, there are no things that are above doing to you. All right.
Do you honestly believe a 5-year-old even knew the word or what it meant?
I don't care if he did or not. If a 5-year-old rides up to you and calls you a name, so you shoot him in the face, draw and quarter that person in the center of town.
Yeah,
that's it.
Same afternoon.
I don't care if it's real or not.
Did you know that North Carolina still has the firing squad on the books?
Good.
A lot of states do, actually.
Can you imagine that if
Idaho is the only state that actually uses it?
I'm almost positive Alabama just killed someone by firing squad, like in the last 3 months.
Could you imagine? Could you imagine if you actually put out a call for volunteers for the firing squad for this guy? How many people you'd have to sift through to be able to
look? Do you know what this sounds like to me? This sounds like government efficiency. You can apply for the firing squad yourself. You have to bring your own ammo, and the line is going to be 50 miles long.
I think the best way to actually handle this guy would have been a select team of 4. And you say, he's in this city. He needs to not be in this city by nightfall. And that probably would have solved this problem much quicker. Yeah. I mentioned this a lot in my community security class. And I think 2 of the 3 others on this show have been present in mine. How did the Old West actually have law enforcement? Well, there wasn't any. And it was up to the individuals to handle the crime. And if they decided to take the guy to the sheriff, they took the guy to the sheriff. But if they didn't, justice was served either way.
So, listen to this. So this is when you have 2 charlatans kind of going at it over this, and I think it's kind of funny. Matt Walsh says, this image provokes deep visceral rage. So he's basically the same picture from our thing. visceral rage in every father who sees it. I can't even fully articulate it. It's primal. We want scalps. We want heads on pikes. Well, yes, I think a lot of fathers feel that way, but we're not all like, influencers with millions of followers. And James Lindsay comes over the top and says, pray for cooler heads than Matt's to prevail. The moment has gone feral. So it's kind of like you've got on one end, you've got the, we must have blood. And then you're going, oh, cooler heads must prevail. And honestly, something right in the middle is probably the right answer.
I stopped listening when you said James Lindsay.
Yeah, I was going to say, listen, we are where we are because, quote, cooler heads have continuously prevailed
there is a time
for
for
generations.
Prevail, and there's a time for them not.
Yeah,
I will give. That said, there is a time for peace and a time for war, a time to heal and a time to kill.
There it is.
Yeah.
I mean, I will give the cooler heads this much credence. Be strategic and surgical about it. Going out and causing mayhem for the sake of mayhem won't fix anything. It will make you feel better, but cutting this to pieces brutally and often surgically is going to be substantially better. Now, that said, whomever is in charge of that strategy had better not have some soft, like, oh, well, we better take into account the feelings of the race grifters and but it's all socioeconomic. If any of those people have any say of any variety, it's already over. So you can't be that cool-headed. But equally, just walking into the city, as much as this does appeal to some parts of my heart, walking into the city with a howitzer and just leveling 3/4 of it is not actually going to solve the problem.
Correct.
I was putting this to rear its head in the chat, and Gene did it for me. The best thing I can say is Malcolm X was right once again. Liberal went at the greatest risk, and they're the reason why we're where we are today.
Yeah.
Well, I will just say vaguely before we move on to the next portion of this topic that indiscriminate would be the way that a lot of people would do it. I would just say that, gee, it's interesting that we live in the modern times that we live in, where people happen to tag themselves in certain behaviors and activities online that would allow you to assemble a list of these people relatively easily. They've self-reported themselves for decades.
Yeah. So one of the things that has put us where we are today have been some myths that have been spread by the left, right? And here's two of them, right? The first myth is that large numbers of black men are in prison for nonviolent drug crimes.
Well,
and then the second...
Hold on. What does that mean?
Hold on a second. Let me get the second one, and then we can talk about these. The second is that police are constantly shooting black men and unarmed black men in particular.
Also false.
Completely false. I mean, and this is what makes
unarmed white men than they do unarmed black men.
Statistically speaking, like in ratio, more what unarmed white men.
And in numbers. No, it's in every respect.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like in 1,000, right? Like it's not even like proportionate to their size. It's like in excess of the size of the numbers of white men or whatever. It's absolutely crazy. But yeah, so let's go back to the large numbers of black men are in prison for nonviolent drug crimes. Now, first of all, is there such a thing as a nonviolent drug crime?
Yeah. First of all, how many of those nonviolent drug crimes are plea bargains down from a violent crime?
And that is the real question.
Yes. So, and this gets to the point where there's hardly any of these types of crimes that are just nonviolent drug crimes. They're usually very complex crimes that's what they get the guy on. If it's a possession or something along those lines, they don't, maybe the gun, they can't put the gun in the guy's hand that was in the car, right? Or they ditch the gun, or, this is, so these are the kind of, the simplification of this. But, oh, by the way, it's not even true, right? Let's see, any serious cuts in prison population would have included the release of many violent offenders as well, right? No matter what you get them for, you're still releasing violent offenders from prison. And let's be honest, you don't have prisons full of black men who were caught smoking pot. That's just not a thing.
No, Joe hit the nail on the head here with what it is, right? So if you have a guy who, during the era of the knockout game, being relatively new, is when this got established. And the reason that it got established is because it is incredibly difficult. In fact, we're going to go way back here. There's a thing called a Bronx jury. Do we all know what a Bronx jury is?
I'm sure the chat doesn't.
Okay.
Know.
So here's the deal. The premise is if you take a black person, specifically a black man, in front of a primarily black jury, the capability to get a conviction is almost zero, regardless of evidence, regardless of circumstance. Now, whether you like it or not,
it's a jury nullification. Yeah.
So they're very rarely doing jury nullification because that's a specific thing. But the decently well demonstrated reality is you can walk up with a video, which is how we came to have the term the knockout game, as coined by once friend of the show, Colin Flaherty. And so he would post videos of this, and those videos would make their way to court. And unironically, what you would get is that some, because it is what it is, whether you like it or not, black guy would walk up behind a white person and hit them in the back of the head, knock them out, right? And thus coining the term the knockout game, because it's just a game where you just go knock out white people. Now, this wasn't some miscellaneous assertion. Plenty of them, very much like the I got that white girl, said things immediately after that demonstrated that this was the purpose of this game, right? And so these videos would make their way to court, at which point whomever the defendant was would go, oh, but this 80-year-old grandmother with a walker who didn't even know I was there called me the N-word. So I knocked her out. And this, somehow or another, was perfectly good justification to permanently damage or kill some grandmother, some 15-year-old kid, whatever. That was fine. And these defenses are working in court, or at least at the time of establishment of this premise, they were. And by the way, Bronx juries are a thing that have been documented in courts for, at this point, no less than 15 years. Now, whether you like that or not, these things are true. And so, if what we're going to talk about is why is it that we have all these nonviolent offenders who just got caught smoking weed? Well, here's how this works. The prosecutors know they can't get the convictions, and their careers are based on convictions. So if they go to court over this, they're going to have lower conviction rates if they live in major cities where there is a decent chance that that jury is going to be 20 to 80% black. And by the way, 20% is enough. All right. Because you get a hung jury if 20% of the jury, which by the way is like 3 people, goes, oh, we're just not going to convict. Okay. That's it. That's what you get. And so while they're sitting there and they're looking at the evidence and they're saying, well, we've got this guy dead to rights on beating the hell out of this 80-year-old woman for no reason whatsoever. But also, he had a pot pipe and a quarter in his, or, an eighth in his pocket, right? Well, an eighth is possession at minimum, and a quarter is possession with intent to distribute. So I can go to this guy and I can say 5 years for the quarter, and the family can get some justice, and I'll get my conviction. Or I can take this to a jury that I know to the tune of almost 100% won't convict. Now, again, whether or not you like that that's how the system has behaved for the past no less than 15 years, and much more likely at least since OJ, that's how it is.
Yeah. Facts. There's just some really kind of ugly stuff that's popping up in the wake of this. And the problem is this ugly stuff kind of shows the reality of so many African Americans' mentality towards this types of things. And this is exactly how you get this kind of crime in the first place. If you would just hit the link there. This is the official Black Lives Matter account posted a video stating that black people have the right to violence amid mass outrage over her slaying.
Have a right to violence. All oppressed people have a right to violence. And I'm going to tell you something. It's like the right to pee. You got to have the right place. You got to have the right time. You got to have the appropriate situation. And I'm absolutely convinced that this is it. Have a right to violence.
So they're calling for the violence done. Burn their city down because they do a pretty good job of looting and burning their own neighborhoods down.
Well, and careful what you wish for, right? Because whether anybody likes it or not, there is a very growing contingent of white people who are like, so the oppressed people are us. And I used to get sent this meme specifically around the times that I had Colin on the show. That was, when black people chimp out, it's burning down cities. When white people chimp out, it's a bunch of Nazis. So be careful what you wish for.
Watcher, if you would go back to that.
Did we just?
Sorry. Your audio broke up for me there for just a second. Go back to which?
Did you lose me or something?
Yeah, I'm apparently having connection issues. I keep losing you every couple seconds. Go back to the article, I'm assuming?
No, not the article. The post we were just looking at. I want to show off some of the stuff in the responses.
Okay, give me... Yep, let me pull it back up. Bam.
No, this is France. I want to go back to the one with the video of the lady. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, here we go. You were just there. So right beneath it, you've got some... Yeah, you've got this one. Web3 King says, mental health crisis is one picture. Now...
And we lost guy.
And yeah, that's pretty unironic.
Well, everyone said he had a mental health crisis. That's not an excuse, right? Man.
Hey,
and
we've let it be
too
too
long.
long.
Down below here, deserved. That's just crazy.
Exactly, right. And at some point, we are going to have, at bare minimum, a national reckoning on whether or not you can come up with a stupid excuse. But he was having a mental health crisis. Like, okay, well, we got two options then. We lock him in a padded room literally forever. You never get out. Or get a rope. And I know, I can hear the race. Oh, my God, but lynching was anti-black. Actually, lynching was anti-violent douchebag. But
yeah,
if your opinion, dear race grifter, is that all black people are violent douchebags, that's a stand you can take.
I mean, statistics don't lie, right?
Indeed.
And Lance Corporal veteran for $2 nails it. Oppression rhetoric always leads to violence. 100%. Because it justifies their violence. Well, if I'm being oppressed, then I guess that I can be violent in response to that.
Derna, you know what? Since Scott's not here and we're panning for time, I'll just do this out loud. Derna, I lived in Los Angeles for 4 years. My first wife was from South Central. I had an apartment in Bell at the time, if that's not too down-homesy for you. And I lived in Portland in downtown for the first 2 years of the riots. You have no idea who the fuck I am. Shut your mouth.
I don't know what that was in response to, but I'm here for it.
Great story.
Yeah, there's been a whole thing going on about how Watcher's a hick who couldn't possibly know anything about city life. And I think it's
he knows enough to get out of the city, and he's going to do his job for that because he got
wrong mic, Scott.
Thank you.
You know what's funny about this generation of hicks, specifically those of us you find on the internet, is we all lived in cities at some point.
It's like putting a city slicker in Nebraska. Have you ever been to Lincoln, Nebraska? It's 260,000 people. So
Shit, we got him back. He's gone again.
Apparently, Scott has some sort of an attachment to Lincoln, Nebraska.
He's back. He's back. He's back.
He's going there right now.
Did you look at the comments though underneath there? Like,
Yeah, we did. It's pretty bad.
Wrong mic again.
oh,
Pretty sure.
There it is.
There you go.
No, it's right. Yeah, I mean, so like the ones that like deserved, he got the king crown on the guy's head and clean up on aisle 13.
Yeah, we were just talking about that. Yeah.
Unbelievable. Like what is amazing to me is how many people out there are just like, this is good. This is something we need to have. Like I don't know that white people have violence in them the way they used to, but I get the feeling that if some unhinged, like it wouldn't take a small number of unhinged white people would actually be pretty fucking devastating on the entire country, and it would probably get us all in fucking trouble. But this is the kind of thing that I could see coming from that. All right, let's move on. Let's go. So that's the destruction that's happening in the U.S. and just how we're committing suicide. Let's look at Europe because they're doing the same thing. Because it's not just this is the use of flares here. Actually, they got the French police pretty fucking cowed in this video.
Is that I'm guessing that's the police's bus.
Yeah, I mean, so it's it's President Macron just appointed his 5th prime minister in 2 years. In response, the Block Everything movement is calling for a nationwide blockade of roads, halting public services, mobilizing citizens to stay home. Macron is considering blocking a social media to prevent the movement from spreading. Good luck with that.
The statement, mobilizing people to stay home, is just silly. You don't have to mobilize people to stay home. They're already home. But I want to point out the number of Palestinian flags that you see in this. So, pretty interesting.
Yeah, but most of what's happening right now, especially in Paris, is pretty leftist, Antifa-driven. Yeah. But there's a lot of just general...
They will use any excuse to commit violence to effect some sort of change, right? They're going to co-opt this protest, which was actually probably a fairly legitimate thing to do. But I see Macron picked the worst possible person to try and mitigate this, right? He should have went with someone more centrist. Instead, he went with someone even more left than the last guy. So it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out.
Oh, sure. Yeah, 100%.
I just have a comment, and which is like, it's funny because I always see French police and they always look like they're mostly really terrible at riot control. But you would think that they would be the most practiced police force in the world at riot control, except for maybe Portland, right? Like, huh?
Well, the problem is they're not empowered to actually do anything.
I think the problem might be that they're French.
Well, I like as somebody who served with some French guys, there's some good ones. The problem is there are not very many of them.
Yeah, and they're not actually French. They're all in the Foreign Legion, and they're not actually French.
In fairness, I've never worked with those, but
I do like the Foreign Legion guys.
I've actually only met a couple, but mostly I've done a lot of work with French Marines, but only a couple of Foreign Legion guys.
So let's then on the other side of this, though, you've got Le Pen and her kind of crew are using this moment to try to kind of push their advantage. I good luck to them. France needs them, but I think the chances of Le Pen and her crew getting into power is low.
What I find interesting is he's picked this other guy. The parliament has already said they're going to immediately issue another vote of no confidence.
Yeah.
What that's going to prompt him to do, which is perfectly legal under their constitution, is to vacate Parliament, right? He's going to just go ahead and boot them all out, and they're going to have national elections again, which is a risk for him because he will probably lose.
Let's see.
I see the problem here. Dern is one of those people who believes that New York is the only big city in the world.
Yeah.
All right. Well, this video here is a little better. The French police are giving a little better account of themselves in this one. If you want to put that one on. I love the whole kind of just charge thing they got going on. You charge into the umbrellas. And then just start whacking.
See, that's the problem with using an umbrella as a weapon. It lasts about 3 hits.
If that. Especially if you're up front.
You know, I want to bring this back because I didn't realize I wasn't sharing audio here. You guys, it's a pretty good war cry, I'm not going to lie. Oh, and then of course it mutes itself. There we go. It's not bad. It's not bad.
Yeah. You know what's ironic is those helmets that they have on are almost like exact copies of the second style Roman Legion helmets with the tapered neck guard on the back.
Yeah. That's not bad.
So I thought more of a samurai, but
But it's got the samurai. The samurai's got the same general shape too. But I think these are not flexible like the samurai ones are.
What's with the cybermedic over here? Is he with the police or is he with the protesters?
With the guy
I got the feeling he's with the protesters.
Right there.
Right there, yeah.
He appears to be with the protesters.
All right. Let me catch up on super chats here real quick. Oh, I lost all the super chats, by the way. Yeah, like when I left. So I got Lost Core 23 for $10. All this sucks. I don't trust the DA cops, to be honest, about anything. Where I'd be on a jury, but similarly, I think that these people should be put down. Yep. And then Pinochet's Helicopters for $2 says, I recall the Biden administration signing a new anti-lynching bill in preparation for the backlash against soft on crime policy. Oh, by the way, speaking of Obama era, remember the Brown guy, hands
Mike
up,
Brown.
don't shoot or whatever, Mike Brown? Well, his buddy who basically gave false testimony about hands up, don't shoot, just ate a bullet the other day.
Live by the sword, etc., etc., etc.
Yeah, exactly, etc., etc., etc.
Didn't do nothing.
Anyway, so yes,
Bro,
there's some throwbacks.
It's time to move on.
All right. Oh, and so the final footnote in the Irina story here is U.S. attorney says that after her death, the embassy of Ukraine called and said, "We'll help you bring her home." Her family said, "No, she loved America. We're going to bury her here." That's
questions. I want to add one thing that I hope the family won't mind me sharing. But after Irina's death, the embassy in Ukraine called and said, "We'll help you bring her home." And her family said no. They said she loved America. We're going to bury her here. So I think we can give her an America to be proud of. As Mr. Barnacle said, something here is broken, and we're here to fix it. We're happy to take your questions.
Yeah. America should be proud of by not having a backlash and not being angry that this man just killed her because of the color of her skin. That's the biggest problem in America right now is all of this. No. We have to be bigger than that. Sometimes violence is the answer.
Well, and not just violence, but being honest about what it's for, right? I mean, he killed her because she's white. You can say that. It's okay to say that most black people are violently racist against white people. Not all black people, but it seems like to me it's greater than 50%. You guys got any other kind of? I mean, we didn't even get into like the whole Muslim takeover of America and all that kind of stuff. That that's a whole separate kind of ball of wax there. The other thing that I thought was good is that the feds got involved. I think the feds will be able to put him probably in the electric chair faster than North Carolina could. But we'll see. All right, gentlemen, let's move on to the other stories that could all be lead stories for the show today. In our second segment, which we're going to call Waiting for World War. There were people who were just fucking creaming their shorts this morning. Just, I can't wait. Well, I guess it's yesterday evening for you guys, but like, Russia attacked Poland with a bunch of cruise missiles. It's time to go. It's time to go take care of Russia and all this kind of stuff. What they don't mention is that Russia had another one of its huge, like 600, 700, drone attacks on Ukraine, and about 3 of them is what I understand. Might be a couple more leaked out of Ukraine and into Poland. Everybody said it's the fucking, it's the second coming of the Blitz, and of course Polish F-16s were up, scrambling and shooting them down. That is confirmed. They did shoot some down. NATO's jets scramble as Russian drones allegedly enter Poland's airspace overnight. Poland placed its air defenses on its highest state of readiness after Ukraine's Air Force warned Russian drones had crossed into Polish airspace, according to early reports. Polish armed forces said on Wednesday local time that they had all necessary procedures were activated to secure their national airspace as Russia carried out a large-scale overnight strikes on Ukraine. Polish and allied aircraft are operating in our airspace, and ground-based air defense and radar systems have reached the highest levels of readiness. However, the initial Polish military statement itself did not specify Russian breach of Polish airspace. Everything I saw out of Poland was fairly kind of tame at first, right? It wasn't until like later and they started doing we're going to call Article 4 of the NATO Charter into play, which came later. I think that was in the morning, Polish time.
Welcome, Blaine.
Don't jump the gun. Remember when the alleged Russian missile went into Poland and it was really crazy?
Yeah, I said this all night last night. Like, hey, the Poles and the Danish are in a fight with someone. We don't necessarily know who that is, right? So.
I'll be honest with you. Seeing the size of the barrages that Russia is hitting Ukraine with, I completely believe that these are errant Russian drones. That being said, it is not the whole, oh my God, they're being attacked. No, these are a couple leakers.
Errant, or, I mean, let's be honest, there's multiple ways to defeat these drones, and one of them could potentially be to electronically fry the guidance system.
Exactly. And then it's just basically going to fly until it runs out of gas or whatever, and then it'll just fall. Ukraine trying to pull NATO into the war. I mean, I don't know that they're trying, but they've been trying to pull NATO into the war ever since the day one of the war, by hook or by crook. I just don't know that this is the cause of that. So what was your guys' take when you heard about the Article 4 kind of, hey, we want to call an Article 4 gathering at which Article 4 is consultation.
It's just for show. It's to say we're really, really serious, and that's
we got to talk about this. 100%. I thought that was kind of a little bellicose, but it's exactly what it's red meat for the EU kind of crowd. Let's see. Overnight, Ukraine's energy ministry said Russian forces struck a thermal power generation facility in the Kiev region, which suffered some local blackouts and gas outages as a result. While much of the east of Ukraine has been less frequent mass outages throughout the war, this is a more rare occurrence over the capital area. The goal is obvious to cause even more hardships to the peaceful population of Ukraine to leave Ukrainian homes, hospitals, and kindergartens without light and heat. That's from the Ministry of Energy. This followed on the heels of the single largest aerial attack in the 3.5 years of the conflict, which resulted in a serious blaze at a government building. Russia's defense ministry confirmed that they were targeting the Ukrainian energy infrastructure in this newest strike. Energy's electric grid later said several power sites in the country were hit. Emergency repair work is ongoing, and most consumers had their power restored by Monday morning. Gas infrastructure was also damaged, resulting in 8,000 properties and 8 settlements suffering disconnection from their supply. So, I mean, like I said, these are like very large targeted attacks. And some of these weapons aren't the most sophisticated. I mean, let's be honest. The Russian version of the Shahed drone is probably the best version of the Shahed drone in the world, but it's still a fucking Shahed drone. It's like, I don't want to be too pejorative. Guys, what's your kind of take on this? Don, this is fire support, right? I was showing somebody at work, at my office, the fire plan for the night. And they were like, "Wow, that's a lot of drones." And I'm like, "Yeah, that's a lot of drones."
Yeah.
On the is this fire support front? I mean, kind of.
It's more like cruise missiles, right? It's more like air, they're more like random airstrikes because the other thing too is these Shahed drones are not controlled by like a guy and a joystick, right? And like watching TV, these are all GPS guided. So to the extent that they jam GPS or what are the GLONASS or whatever the Russian equivalent, they are only as good as their guidance system. And it's a strategic, though, right? I mean, it's not even like tactical or operational.
Yes. So this is. I know I go back to this a lot, but I'm going to keep doing it. This is the next generation of over-the-horizon capabilities, and if we just kill this one guy, then everything in the world is going to be fine. We'll win wars by killing Osama bin Laden. And actually, no. All right. That seems to be the lesson of the past 50 years of American warfare, maybe longer, right? I mean, that barely encompasses Vietnam, sort of. So 60, maybe. It turns out that once you have a group of people who are moving in a direction, just killing one guy is rarely the answer, because somebody will show up and go, that guy was right, we should keep going.
Are you saying that putting the intelligence agencies in charge of the military and having the military fight the way the intelligence agency would was a bad strategy?
I would never say such a thing, because those motherfuckers already hate me and are probably going to schwack me as is. But if you said such a thing, I wouldn't say no.
Watcher, you want to put up the map real quick just so we can kind of see where the area was?
Oh, oops, sorry, not this map, other map. Hold on, let me grab it. This one. Yep. And then I'm trying to find that picture I had earlier of the Shaheds. I don't know why I didn't drop it in the notes.
So they're saying here that at least 3 Shahed attack drones have reportedly been downed within the last few minutes over eastern Poland. Additionally, possible heading with additional probably heading in the direction of I have no idea how to pronounce this. Both the Ukrainian Air Force and aircraft with NATO Quick Reaction Alert working to track and shoot down any remaining drones launched by Russia against Poland. See, just the language here by itself, launched by Russia against Poland. They weren't fucking.
There's no confirmation of that whatsoever, right?
Yeah. In fact, these flight paths would exactly indicate to me that most of these were headed for Ukrainian targets and either or had their guidance systems burned out or just were failures in construction.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, for one reason or another.
Although, considering that this hasn't happened in the past and that we have seen these mass waves of drone strikes before, I would suggest that this probably had more to do with interference.
And if we didn't have enough, I was showing this to a friend of mine at work, and that map you just had on here, and I was like, that's one night.
In this context, it's very different because this was not these other strikes were not being shared at the time that the Poland stuff was being shared.
Yeah. All right. Let's move on to the other side of the planet where they're trying to start a war again.
Real quick, these are the pictures. Found them. I did put them in the notes.
Oh, those are of actual drones.
Yep, in Polish fields.
Is that actually a Shahed drone?
That's a Shahed.
It doesn't
That's
look like it to me.
It's not the Shahed.
No, it's the Russian-made version of the Shahed. It's whatever.
No, it's not. Hold on a second. It's
not? Because that's what I was told this morning. Those are not Girans. Okay, this might not be the right field then. OSINT Defender might have got it wrong.
Yeah, so let me show you a Garan.
God, they look like little space shuttles.
Drop it in the private chat now. This is just an image search, so you can see what. There's a lot of
right. Okay, yeah, they are different. Huh.
And the new version of the Russian Shahed has got a little turbojet engine on it too, so it's they've actually got a faster, longer range version.
Got tail numbers you can look at too.
Yeah, the tail number is something that really tipped me off, and that just looks like something homemade, right? To look like one.
Yeah, this actually is a little suspect. Like I'm not saying it's not a real drone. I think it is probably. It's just from a different event, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so too.
It is definitely not a Shahed. So
yeah, the Shahed has tail. The little fins at the end of the wings, and they're delta wing.
Yeah.
All right, so that's definitely not what the Israelis used.
Real quick, here's the Russian one.
Yeah, that's with the turbofan or turbojet. So let's see who is Jewish and did not use Shahed drones. The Israelis. Hamas accuses Trump of a setup in Doha after 5 leaders killed by an Israeli
strike. So this is what's interesting. The day before this, they said they outright rejected the peace plan. Now they say, well, we were getting together to talk about it, and the U.S. set us up. Okay.
No,
if anybody set up, there's Jackson Hinkle, but I digress. Anyway.
Thank you, Agent Hinkle.
Hamas, let's see. Hamas has claimed in an official statement that Israel failed in its attempt to assassinate the group's negotiation teams. However, it acknowledged that 5 of its members were killed. That's not what I'm hearing. I'm hearing 5 leaders.
They also denied it for 24 hours too.
Yeah, and some are saying that even the leader of Hamas might be in that group. There's been some back and forth on whether the U.S. greenlighted the operation ahead of time, but reports say the White House was informed once the operation was already ordered by Netanyahu. Trump officials then quickly informed Qatar. Qatar, which condemned the attack, hosts America's most important airbase in the region, as well as much of the Hamas political leadership. It's been a key mediator in 2 years of talks to resolve the war in Gaza. Yeah. See, here's the thing, right? I get the feeling that Qatar puts the Hamas negotiation team on the same level as us and the Israelis, and that Qatar should literally put them in their place, but they're not doing that.
I think that despite the Qatari harsh statement against Israel yesterday, Qatar knew exactly what was going to happen.
Oh, yeah.
That's why there was no Qatari personnel in attendance when the strike occurred.
That Joe. Oh, excuse me. In the Middle East, there is a long history of countries giving essentially press statements for their domestic audience, right? Like, hey, we gotta condemn you in the media and everything, but no, this is good. You guys go ahead and go and schwack those guys. But we're going to tell you, everybody, that you're the devil tomorrow. So just know that. There's been some speculating on whether Trump just did to Hamas what was done to Iran, lure them into thinking negotiations were happening, only to set them up for a brutal decapitation strike. The following were confirmed killed based on Hamas statements. We confirmed the enemy's failure to assassinate our brothers in the negotiating delegation. However, a number of our martyred brothers have ascended to the highest ranks of glory, including Jihad Labad al-Bilal, director of Dr. Khalil, whatever. It's just a bunch of fucking...
A lot of us religious scholars.
Khalils, Maliks. Yeah, austere religious scholars. That's exactly right. Hamas went on to say that the United States was responsible for the attack alongside the Israelis and allege a setup of sorts. Qatari officer killed. What did the U.S. know in terms of details and how far in advance? So they're saying the Qatar's Interior Ministry says the attack killed a Qatari security officer. So that may be the case of a guy like just
the building security guard. Yeah.
Yeah, and he could literally be 100 meters away from those impacts and still taking a piece of shrapnel to the head. So these were not small bombs.
I'm seeing people in chat say there's rumors we refueled them. I have two questions to that. Why would we do that when Israel has their own refueling capacity? And why would we know about that?
In fairness, in order to get their refueling capacity there without overflying Iraq, which they probably did, that would be difficult.
Well, that is true. We're assuming that this was dropped from a stealth jet, and
yeah, I assume it's a 35.
I'm assuming the same thing. Although theoretically, I suppose this could have been, missile or pre-planted explosives. I don't know.
Targeting the negotiation delegate, as discussed, President Trump's latest proposal confirms beyond doubt that the Netanyahu and his government do not want to reach an agreement and are deliberately seeking to thwart all opportunities to thwart international efforts, disregarding the lives and the prison. I mean, let's be honest. I don't think that that's true. This is what Hamas said. Because they were given a new deal yesterday, and they said, "Go fuck yourself, America." So,
there's, not like they've done that before. That would be unprecedented.
Right. That's exactly right.
But here's the thing: Qatar has a very, very advanced air defense network,
built by the Americans.
So, in order for this to have happened, somebody had to have yawned and reached over and turned a switch off, right? Because it's pretty much automatic and it does a lot of things. So Qatar knew.
Somebody is bringing in a thought here that I actually hadn't thought of, and that is that the Qataris might have authorized it themselves and now are just screaming about it to maintain face.
The Qataris may have suggested it to the U.S. in the first place.
Yeah, that's that would not be out of character. Yeah, I would say the Qataris are two-faced, but I think that undersells it. They're at least 3, if not 4.
Don, what's your kind of take on all this? I know you get upset every time the artillery, takes a backseat to the air power.
Well, there's that, but we're still playing the precision strike game here, and that sort of makes sense. But I don't know that I have anything of particular relevance to add after, like, well, one, they probably knew it was coming because they probably did. And two, if they're, regardless of who anybody wants to blame at any given moment, if there is a peace accord set up at any given time and that thing explodes, then what you know is that somebody didn't want peace, and the hey, they weren't there is a pretty good sign of who didn't want peace.
How dare you?
So
You don't want peace.
Well, I mean, look, the Middle East doesn't want peace. I am both shocked and amazed.
Hey, you know, the guy with the flare on the boat didn't want peace either, evidently.
Well, look, the anti-Greta Thunberg drone strikes they are the real threat to modern civilization.
Did you see that it was one of the guys on their own boat that shot a flare up and it came back down and landed in the fucking boat?
Yeah. I'm telling you, the real threat to modern civilization.
Oh my gosh. All right. Gentlemen, that's all I got. That's it. That's all I got. 1 hour, 51 minutes. We got a lot. There's a lot that we didn't cover. I mean, you know, we can only go so deep into these topics and A, get to all the topics, and B, keep it in under 2 hours. So we apologize if we didn't hit your particular thing. And I apologize if I lost the super chat from earlier. That is a less than awesome function. Oh, you know what? No. I lose them in Lance Corporal Veteran for $2 over on YouTube. Oppression rhetoric always leads to violence, 100%. Because you're basically telling people that you've got no other chance. There's, you know, your only opportunity is violent revolution in order to get outside of your, you know, that state of being. All right, Joe. Look, it's midweek. Do we get a invasion of Venezuela this week, or do you think is that a push to next week?
I'm sorry. Say it again. I was still figuring out when me and Watcher said we were going to kill people.
Yeah, that's
what did you
apparent.
Same thing I say at the end of every show. What do you think? It's midweek. What do you think is going to happen?
I think we're going to say. I was going to say different things. I was going to see different things going on in Nepal and France with the protests getting bigger and spiraling. I believe that this weekend we have some big anti-Donald Trump protests that are planned on the 13th. And let's not forget what tomorrow represents. So head on a swivel, pay attention tomorrow, and be around.
Yeah.
Oh, apparently I am just the turbo evil person. I see what's going on.
You're the what?
I am the turbo evil today. Which, look, I have a certain set of skills, a reputation to defend. Exactly.
Where do you see the next week headed, Don?
Be careful in your wording, Don. I wouldn't want to upset Derna.
Right. The chat may have an aneurysm if I speak freely in a country that was based on that sort of thing.
And it is honestly only because we love you, Derna, that we want some clarification. That's all.
Yeah, if we thought you were a random troll, we'd be like, block.
Whatever. But
so the Venezuela thing, I get the feeling for the next week or so we're just going to continue this, what amounts to interdiction that we would have called interdiction in the 80s without a second thought. On the home front, we are growing dangerously close to a whole lot of violence breaking out and it not being one-sided. Now, is it going to be the Everybody rise up and take this country back? Probably no. But fully expect that maybe not within the next week, but within the next few months, somebody is going to do something ridiculous. And it's not even going to be that ridiculous. But, the guy who smoked a bunch of people trying to steal his car, something like that's going to happen. And then the pushback is going to begin. And the pushback is going to be where the real mayhem is.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you could see violent pushback from both sides, really. It's not like one side or the other.
No. It's going to escalate, and it's going to take time before it escalates into something real, but it is going to escalate.
Yeah, I in fact, I'll piggyback off his just to say what I want to lead into mine, which is it's going to start with, I'm almost positive it's going to start with one of these criminals who should have wound up in jail for an incredibly long time, potentially the rest of their lives, winding up found skinned on someone's doorstep after they were released from prison. That's what's going to start it.
Just me for 1999 says, let me leave you with the words of wisdom for today. Who am I kidding? I got nothing. Yeah, well, that's about me too.
Perfect wisdom. Don't kid yourself.
Yeah,
I've decided, out of deference, I've been convinced in today's chat. I'm selling all weapons and I'm becoming a man of peace. That's what I'm going to do.
That's perfect. Have you considered, while you're doing that, hormone replacement therapy?
No. The farthest I'll go is Buddhist monk. Beyond that, not happening.
You look good in orange.
And I want to say thank you again for the gifted memberships over on Rumble from Low Key Lart. He says, I'll blame my OCD. Yeah, I got you, brother. Gentlemen, I had no idea half this stuff was going to happen today, so I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. All I can tell you is nothing. This train is not slowing down; it's speeding up, and it's going to get worse before it gets better. That's all I know. Derna for Derna two for $5 said, "Listen, all I'm saying is that if you show up in a neighborhood with 200,000 people in 3 square miles." And start shooting. If you don't think that there are 30,000 guns, you'd be surprised. There's
Guess
probably
what?
more
Nobody
than
said
that.
at all. Not one person said that at all. And
take
the
it as an
point was
attack of
that
your
if
character.
it did happen, the point,
Okay.
Durna, what Don said was, if it did happen, he didn't say he wanted it to happen or that it was going to, but he said if it did, the world would change. And that's because of those guns that you mentioned, and people would shoot back. So in all reality, we actually agree. You just want to hear something other than what was said. And Rita's next one, I want to address that too.
I can't explain how much of the internet hates me because I said something is going to happen, so they decided that I wanted it to happen.
You wanted it to happen, right?
Let me,
not true at all.
You know,
like
what?
there's a huge quantity.
There's another strain of this that I'm going to take a bite at.
Says dibs on Joe's bayonet collection.
Yeah.
So,
there's another strain of thought here that I want to take a bite at before we move on, which is this whole, we here in the city are real hard and nobody can do anything to us. Listen, remember what I said earlier about the...
Chicago, we're ready for the National Guard, guys.
Thank you. Yeah, exactly. Listen, remember what I said earlier about the disorganized many getting their asses handed to them by a coordinated, trained few on a consistent basis, as in it's literally the basis of history? May want to look into that.
So, yeah. And then Durna said that shouldn't take it as an attack on our character. 2 things. We didn't. But you said that we wanted this to happen, and that's false, and that's not true. So we're going to address that. And 2, nobody else gets to tell me about my character because I know it. And everyone else on here is the same. We know our character, so we don't consider these things attacks on our character. Pretty simple.
I've been on the internet way too long to give a shit what the internet thinks of my character.
Right? Seriously, same. Good Lord.
Yeah.
See, here's your problem. You said that you thought it was cute. You don't get to tell me what I think. I'm sorry, but you do not. I was trying to make light and lighten the mood with the joke about the scope.
I mean, I thought it was timely.
Seriously.
I thought it was timely and funny. Also, did he say you'll need this to go kill homeboys? No. If there's violence on the streets, do you not want to be properly armed?
Right.
I do.
I want to be properly armed, and there isn't even violence on my streets.
Seriously, man. Just no one said they were coming in the neighborhood to shoot anybody. Nobody thinks that would be cool or neat. We're not going to do it, dude. It's okay. It's all going to be good.
All right, gentlemen. That's about all I got for today. Thank you, chat. As always, you keep it lively. A lot of super chats today, so really appreciate you guys supporting the channel. Joe, Don, it was nice having you on. I know you've been on a little bit of a hiatus.
Don.
I missed half of what Joe said there, but
I love the pot stirring. I think it's
Oh, I would never. What are you talking about? I am the most milquetoast commentator, only saying the most socially acceptable things, which is why I've been banned from the internet everywhere except Rumble.
Well, we'll have actually YouTube doesn't shut the show down when you come on like it used to.
Well, that's good. I took a long enough break. I can show up here without you guys getting banned. That's incredible.
That's right. So anyways, good to have you, Don. Joe, I swear to God, I'm so fucking jealous of your loot drop you got there from Kyber Optics.
Seriously.
So.
Yeah, it's good stuff, man.
If you want to, you could send me a T-shirt. I don't know.
I'm gonna stop wearing the T-shirt though, because apparently the whole optics thing has triggered people. We're done with it. So
it doesn't trigger me. It doesn't trigger Watt. It doesn't trigger any people that you care about, Joe.
Look,
so I don't know why you
I do care about Durna.
No. Let's not kid ourselves here. I am triggered in the same way Scott is. I am jealous.
I want it. Yeah, it's jealous.
That's what I'm saying. That's the way I'm triggered. Is that Joe's got and I don't got.
The good news is you can head right on over to Brush Beat Down store and buy it.
Oh, I guess I will say one other thing, which is, hey, if you're looking for international shipping stuff, you might want to look into the two separate shipping containers in two separate U.S. ports, which somehow had a malfunction where they dropped all of their cargo into the bay. I'm sure that wasn't designed or happened at all, and it has nothing to do with the fact that all of our ports use all Chinese equipment.
No, don't be silly.
All right, that's all we got today. Oh, Watcher, I'm sorry, I didn't ask you. What's your take on the next?
That was it.
Couple days.
That was my take. Right. That was my take. Is watch out for international shipping. I'm telling you, there's going to be something happen at our ports.
I heard it was $17 worth of Temu gear into the drink. So
yeah, that's what I heard.
What is that, like 42 tons?
Yeah, roughly. Yeah, $12. It's geez.
Yeah. All right, that's all I got for today. Thank you guys for being here, chat. You were awesome as always. If you haven't done it yet, please subscribe to the channel, like the video, share it with your buddies out there. Let them know you're getting some good stuff from the Council on Future Conflicts. For Joe, Don, Watcher, and the chat, thank you guys. And as always, stay safe.